I greet you in Jesus' precious name. It is Tuesday morning, the 5th of March, 2024, and this is your friend Angus Buchan with a thought for the day. We start off in the book of Isaiah, chapter 45, and one verse 22. Look to me and be saved. And then we go straight to the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 11, and again one verse 28. Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. I want to say to those people today that are listening to this message and say, I am not a preacher. I don't seem to be able to do much for the Lord. I am basically a nobody. I want to tell you that God uses nobodies. Do you know that many, many years ago in the 1800s, there was a young teenager trying to get home one night, and a snowstorm came up, a severe one, and he ducked into a little Methodist chapel on the road. And there was hardly anybody in the church. He didn't go there to hear the gospel. He went there to get out of the snowstorm. And the pastor wasn't even there that night because it was a very cold, miserable night. But there was a farm worker, not an educated man, and he took the service. And that's right. He stood up and he said the very scripture that I have just read. Look to me and be saved. And that young teenager gave his life to Christ that night. Who was he? Well, he was one of the greatest preachers that have ever lived. His name was Charles Haddon Spurgeon. He was a Baptist. You know that when he was 21 years old, they built the London Tabernacle for him to preach in because the crowds were so large. Up to 10,000 people at one service. A farm worker used what he had for Jesus, and Jesus did the rest. You and I need to do what God's called us to do. There are people that are needing rest. Come unto me, all of you that are weary and heavy laden. There are many people today. Go out today and tell them what Jesus means to you, because that's all it is all about. Nothing else. I want to tell you that Charles Haddon Spurgeon wrote 250 plus books. He was an unlearned man. He spoke with a very strong English country accent, and yet the crowds came in by the thousands because one farm worker said, I'll do the service on the Sunday night because the pastor couldn't make it. Today, go out and tell people your story. Jesus bless you, and goodbye.